It's Jordan Byers, and today we are finally gonna be playing with the Jeffree Star Alien. We are going to be brutally honestly reviewing the brand new palette and the lipsticks. Do I have friends all of a sudden? So I am barefaced. Well, obviously I have my face makeup on, but I'm just going to start out with priming my eyelids for shadow, and we are literally going to jump straight into this palette because I can't wait. And I will show the swatches of this palette on the screen while we wait for me to prep my eyelids. And honestly, I wasn't too crazy impressed with the swatches of the matte shades. Obviously, always shimmer shades swatch amazingly, but for some reason the matte swatches just didn't come out as well as they usually do when I use Jeffree's eyeshadow, so that was a little bit of a disconnect for me. But at the same time, I always remind people that swatches do not determine a shadow's quality or blendability, because you don't even use makeup like that. Like, you don't pick up a bunch of pigment on your finger and go like that on your eye, do you? No, like, nobody does that. So I never judge a palette by its swatches, because swatches I feel are pretty irrelevant other than just trying to get an overall gist of what the color looks like. So that's my opinion on swatches, but everybody has their own thing. But to be honest, swatches are irrelevant. You don't put on makeup like that. You have to try it on your eye to really understand and know if product is blendable or not. So basically what I did was I popped on the Tarte primer, and then I put this shade called Titan all over my lid just to prep it and get a nice base for what we are about to dive into. So I think I'm just gonna go straight into the shade called Phone Home, and there is a ton of kickback that I'm noticing happening in this palette right now. I mean, with this shade called Titan, there was a ton of kickback too. But I don't really care about kickback in the palette that much, because I understand that if you want a pigmented eyeshadow, there's going to be kickback, because there's not a whole lot of ingredients that are pressing the actual eyeshadow, because it is mostly pigment, and that's how you get extremely pigmented eyeshadows, is the less filler, the less basically other ingredients other than the pigment that you add to the eyeshadow make it less pigmented, if that makes sense. I don't know if I explained that right, or I know I explained it. I know what I know about eyeshadow, but I don't know if I explained that in a easy to understand way. But basically, kickback is not the end of the world for me. I don't like fallout on the face, but I can live with it. It's just not my favorite. But kickback in the pans are not a big deal for me, because I know from experience with making eyeshadows and working in behind the scenes stuff, like, to make a pigmented eyeshadow, it's gonna be hard not to have kickback in the palette. So just take that from me, and this is all knowledge that I've gotten from working, and also just like I study this in school, so I know a lot of the terminology and the science behind how products are made. I'm very interested in product development, so I know a lot about this type of thing. Obviously I'm still learning, and I'm loving it, you guys. I'm freaking loving it. But this shade right here called Phone Home is blending really nicely, and it's super freaking pigmented as well. Like, that's a lot of pigment from just like one dip in the shadow and then like blending it out. So that's really impressive so far. Oh my gosh, I'm so freaking excited about this gray eyeshadow called Tall Gray. You guys know that I'm a cool toned queen, and lately, because I have blue hair, I've been doing a lot of warm eyeshadow looks on my just on my regular basis, because I like the whole warm and cool tones going together. But I feel like there's a lot of cool tones going on in this palette that I'm just so freaking excited about. So I'm going to take that Tall Gray shadow and buff that in the crease. Oh my freaking heck, I love this. I freaking love this shadow. So there's not a lot of people that make freaking gray eyeshadows because, like, not a lot of people wear gray eyeshadow. But there is my favorite gray that I always use is in the Kat Von D, I forget what it's called, but it's the, Pastel Goth palette. It's in the Pastel Goth palette, and that's the only gray shadow that I've ever had that has been like a staple when I do cool toned looks. So I'm just so freaking happy because I definitely am liking this gray color a lot better than that one. Because, I mean, not a lot of people make gray eyeshadow, so like when you find a great gray eyeshadow, for me it's just like, oh, thank you. Like, this is so freaking pigmented and blendable. I'm excited. So I already feel like I want to bring that gray shadow down to my lower lash line as well. I know it's pretty early in the, I don't even know what I'm doing with this look. I'm kind of just, I always just go with the flow of how the makeup is kind of just happening, but I'm already going to bring this gray shadow down to my lower lash line because it's that, like, that's how much I love it. Like, freaking gray eyeshadow, please, you guys, make more gray eyeshadows. Actually, how about I make a gray eyeshadow? You know what, that's what I'll do. I'm gonna make a gray eyeshadow, and it's gonna be bomb, and that's basically what's gonna happen. So I'm just gonna keep blending the gray, just to get, there's a fly, just to get a really nice gradient happening. This purple shade right here is calling out to me. It is calling out to me. It is, huh? It is calling out to me. So I'm going to take it on a flat brush, and I'm going to pack this right on the outer corner, and then I'm going to blend it out with a big old fluffy brush. But I like to pack down shades like this first before blending out because I really want to highlight on the fact that, hey, this is a purple eyeshadow and it's bold, and hey, look, bold right here, and then like buff it into the gray, you know what I mean? Okay, I don't know what's happening with this purple shadow, but it's just getting really patchy. What? Do you see that? So it's like, it's blending out into the gray really nice, but where I'm trying to like pack the pigment, it's just like getting patchy and it's not wanting to stick down. So I don't know what that's about. That's definitely not really something that I like at all. So on this eye, I'm going to try to just blend it in there instead of packing the pigment, just to see if maybe that makes a difference. So I feel like definitely blending it instead of packing helps a little bit, but you lose a lot of the pigmentation when you don't pack it. So maybe what I would do when using this color is blend it first and take the flat brush and pack on the pigment where you really want it to be. See, that looks a lot better than that. But hey, this is all trial and error for us. Like, this is why I do these videos, so that we know. But I do know that making purple eyeshadows is difficult, so I mean, to be able to get this much pigmentation out of that purple is pretty impressive. It's just a little bit finicky for me, but that is okay because I know how hard it is to make purple eyeshadow. Like, it's actually difficult. So I'm going to take the green shade called Flying Saucer right here, and I'm going to literally just put it right on the lower lash line, right above that blended out gray color, just because this is fun. This is freaking fun. See, I love palettes like this because you don't see a lot of these colors in regular eyeshadows. I always am excited for Jeffree's eyeshadow palettes because I know there's going to be colors that are different and unique, and you'll get really cool, just interesting looking eye makeup looks that you don't see with a lot of normal palettes that you could get in Sephora. So I always, you know, get excited about that. Like the greens and the purple, like this is just so freaking new and innovative, and I really appreciate that aspect. So I'm going to take this shade right here called Moon Rock on the flat brush again, and I'm going to pack that right in the middle of my lower lash line. That's so pretty. And now I'm going to cut the crease really fast because I want to go in with this really bright green color right here called Alien. Like, how could I do a makeup look with this palette and not use that? So I'm going to cut the crease and then we will be right back. So that green shade went on absolutely beautiful, but I want to add a little bit more dimension right into there. So I'm going to take the shade called UFO, which is this beautiful, almost fool's gold type of shade, and we're going to pack it right over that line of demarcation between the two shades, and we're just going to blend that. So now that that is that, I'm going to take the shade called Pluto, which is this beautiful white metallic color, and I'm going to pop this in my inner corner. I love like really, really blinding bright white inner corner highlights. I think they're just so, you know, they just make the look better because it's, you know, it's emphasizing. It's emphasizing, okay? And lastly, I'm going to take this shimmer shade right here called Interstellar, which is, I don't even know how to describe this color. So I mean, you guys see what color it is. I'm just going to take this right on the inner corner and drag that into the green shades on my lower lash line. So I'm going to go ahead and pop on some mascara, and then we will be right back and I will tell you my final thought. Alright, so I put on mascara and I'm really feeling this look. Like, it is definitely one of those looks where I'm just like, thank you, yes queen, like let me pop this on my Instagram real quick. But basically, I really do enjoy this palette. I think the whole color story is just so unique, and just the whole layout is really unique as well. Alright you guys, so something happened to the audio on these files, so we're just going to finish off this video with voiceover. I apologize, but basically what ended up happening was I saw that the purple was patchy and I was just not having it. Like, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist sometimes and the patchiness was not cute for me. So I went in and tried to fix that, and it ended up just getting worse. Like, the pigment was patching more and more and more. So I tried like 5 different brushes, 5 different methods trying to get this pigment to stay, and it ended up just patching off more and more and not looking very good. So, and I even added, you know, trying the black and the gray and bringing those colors and trying to fix it, but it didn't work for me. So my final review of this palette is all of the shadows are really great. It's just that purple one really had me messed up, and wow, look at those nostrils. That's disgusting. But honestly, I think the palette is great. All of the shadows are great except for that purple one. I don't recommend using that purple shadow at all unless it's just for, like, you know, the lower lash line. But yeah, I'm kind of, you know, conflicted when it comes to this palette because that purple one really had me messed up and really frustrated. But other than that color, I really, really love the palette and have used it a few times since filming this video. So if that makes, I don't know, like, I like the palette and I don't feel bad for buying it because the shadows, the other colors are really great, but, you know, just the purple one is a no-go for me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough tutorial / review. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe. We're on our way to 500K. And yeah, I will see you in Monday's video. Love you guys. Bye. Ew, that was gross. I'm sorry.